Hey kiddos and parents, I'm Miss Carell, GC Burkhead STEM Lab teacher, and I wanted to get on for a little bit today and talk to you some about coding. Parents, if you don't know this, we spend the second half of the year talking a lot about programming and coding in the STEM Lab, and we work with computers and we work with robots. While it's not easy for me to get robots in your hands right now, they can still learn some of the basics about coding and programming on a computer. For my K through 1 students, we have not done this type of activity before. However, my 2nd through 5th grade students have been on this website before, so it is something that's going to be familiar to them. I don't want parents to be intimidated by coding because really at the elementary level, we are teaching coding at the very basic level. We are teaching things like sequencing, putting things in order. We are teaching things like loops, which is something that we want to repeat over and over again. My older students, 3rd through 5th grade, also learn a little bit about nested loops, which are loops that we want to repeat. And then we also talk about conditional blocks, which are blocks that allow the computer to make a decision. When you use an if-else block, the computer analyzes what's happening on the screen. If one thing is true, then it does something. If that is not true, then it does something else. So you probably noticed that in the packets or on your digital matrix, whichever one you are using, that code.org was one of the options for this week. It is also going to be one of the options for next week. So if your child did not choose that for this week, that's okay. They can still choose it for next week. So that's why I wanted to hop on here and just show you a little bit about the website so that it wasn't something that was unfamiliar to you. So if you go to code.org up here, I always tell the kids to scroll down and look for the bumblebee. So we're going to click on our bumblebee. That's going to take us to a page that asks you to choose your grade level. For us, that's K through 5 because we're elementary. Sorry, it seems to be running a little bit slow. They click on Learn More. And that's going to take us to the page where we have some courses that we can choose from. My kindergarten students will choose from course A, 1st grade students B, 2nd grade students C, 3rd grade students D, 4th grade students E, and 5th grade students F. My 2nd through 5th grade students have already done a couple of these lessons, but when you go into a lesson, so for example, if we just hop into course C, it will bring up all the lessons that are in there. Each of them have about 10 lessons. Some of them are done on the computer. Some of them are done what's called unplugged, meaning learning a little bit about coding without using a device. So you want to find one that is on the computer, and those are going to be notated by a series of levels for that. So for instance, all the levels in this one is about sequencing. So sequencing means just putting your steps in order. So when I come over here and check out Angry Birds, it's going to come up with a short video for the student to watch that kind of gives them an introduction to the lesson. Once you watch that video, then you can click continue, and that's when it's going to take you to the levels. Sometimes if parents are helping, it's good for you to also watch that video so you kind of know what's going on with the coding as well. Loading. Gotta love technology. All right, so once it gets loaded, you're going to notice that up here you have your instructions box. You have your blocks that you're able to use. You have the workspace. And then you have over here your run and your step button. So when you're building a code, this is called Blockly. And so students are basically using blocks that have code written behind them in order to program this computer. Many of them are in game form. So for instance, on this one, we are playing Angry Birds. We're trying to get the Angry Bird to squash the pig. And so you just follow through the directions. They do have to be clicked together. Up here at the top where it says workspace, it shows me how many blocks I'm allowed to use. And then once I think I'm done with my code, I come over and I hit run. And then you'll see if it's correct, then it's going to tell me that I can go on to the next level. And so students can just work through those. They do start out really easy, regardless of which level you're on or which course you're on. So the first levels are always a little easy, and then it gets a little harder as it goes. And you can see each of them always have a challenge level. It's usually closer to the end, but that challenge level makes them think a little more critically. There we go. Makes them think a little bit more critically. If you run into gray blocks on code.org, gray blocks are blocks that you must use. You cannot delete them. However, you can put them in a different order. So that's it. I want to show you really quickly one more level just so you can see what a different course might look like. Maybe one of the older courses. So let's click on Course E. Course E is meant for our 4th grade students. Underneath the higher level courses, it's going to have a ramp up, which we typically don't do. So any of those would be appropriate for your student to do. It basically reminds them some of the things they learned in other grade levels, which is good. Let's see. So there's a couple about nested loops. There's a few about functions. The kids always really like to go to the Minecraft one. Functions in Minecraft. But again, regardless of what the activity is or regardless of which character they're using, the format is still going to be the same. So here it pops up a video for them to watch. I'm going to exit out of that. They choose their character. And then again, the instructions are at the top. They have their blocks here and their workspace too. So that is code.org in a nutshell. Like I said, I just wanted to hop on so that you guys could see it, get a little explanation for it. Beautiful music. And then if you had any other questions about coding, you can always email me. It's heather.korrell@hardin.kyschools.us. I'm more than happy to help you out. You can also send us a Facebook message. That is facebook.com/GCB related arts is where you can find us there. So I hope you guys are staying safe, staying healthy. Just hang in there these next couple weeks, and hopefully I will get to see your students again soon. Thank you so much for watching all the way through, and I hope that you guys have a great day.